NBA season's just right around the corner, and here are really my top teams going into this season. Now, obviously, I wanted to wait as soon as possible, and as close to the season as possible before coming out with this list, just in case there were any last-minute changes. But with the season coming up on Tuesday, today being Sunday, gotta give you all my list now. Thank you everybody for tuning back to Big Red Weekly. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm trying to hit 250 subscribers by the end of the year, so your subscription would definitely mean a lot to me. I'd also like your opinion on what do you think of my intro. Shout out to my buddy Fernando for helping me make the video and do all the editing and all the videoing and everything. So appreciate him, but let me know down in the comments what you guys think of it. Back to the top 8 teams going into this NBA season. Now I'm going to do the top 4 from both the East and the Western Conference. So let's start out with the East because I kind of feel a little bit more confident about that list, but overall I'm honestly not even really that confident. But number 1, I have the Brooklyn Nets. I just think that even though the Bucks were the champions last year, I still have the Nets. If they're fully healthy, I have them as the favorites. I think Kevin Durant and James Harden fully healthy, there's not a lot you can do about that. And then the surrounding team around them, they have so much depth, they have defense, they got shooting that I'm not, overall, unless they're just not healthy, I don't see a whole lot of weaknesses in the Brooklyn Nets team, and that's kind of just why I have them at number 1. Number 2, I have the Milwaukee Bucks. Now the Bucks, I think they're just a smidge bit maybe worse than the Brooklyn Nets. I'll give the Bucks probably overall as a team and having team chemistry, they probably have more of that than the Nets do. But I don't know. Now, I got to give it to Giannis right now because in this preseason, Giannis has been hitting a few jump shots and it's been looking a little bit smooth. So if that starts, if he starts hitting that a little bit pretty consistently this regular season and it translates into the playoffs, I could see Giannis taking his game to that next level, and at that point I could see the Bucks being number 1. Now I'm not saying, the problem is there's so many variables and it's just whether or not you think Giannis is going to hit this consistently. I don't want to put all my eggs in that basket yet because he's only hit a few shots and he can do that sometimes. So but for right now I'm going to keep Bucks at number 2. I think that's safe, but honestly they could interchange as the season goes on. This might be a hot take, I don't really know, but I have Miami at number 3. I think with the addition of Kyle Lowry and it was one of the Morris brothers, I don't remember, was it Markieff Morris? I don't really remember. One of the Morris twins went over and they're both, give or take, about the same. I think one of them's a little bit better. But I think those two additions, Morris just being a nice defensive guy who can, hit some threes every now and then. Kyle Lowry, obviously being the floor general that he is, he's a great 3-point shooter. He's going to hustle his tail off on defense, even though he might not always be the best defender. But he's going to absolutely hustle and give 100%. He's a great passer. It's just, he's been great for this Miami team already, and I think that's absolutely going to translate over to the regular season. And probably into the playoffs, like I said, I have them at number 3. But that could change. Now, I have the 76ers at number 4. Now, depending on whether or not either if Ben Simmons plays and all of a sudden he's actually hitting jump shots, that'll kind of change the thing. If Ben Simmons gets traded and and the 76ers get a halfway decent haul back and where they get a nice scoring guard who can obviously hit his jump shot pretty consistently and everything, they get a real nice player in return, I can see the 76ers jumping up to number 3. It really kind of depends. The 76ers are in a real tough spot because they have a really good team, but they also have a really big weak spot in Ben Simmons because we just don't know what he's actually going to do once the season starts. So if he gets traded or, just depending on how that situation comes about, they could move up to number 3 for me. But because of the uncertainty, I'm going to keep him at number 4. I had like an honorable mention, so I guess it's kind of maybe top 5 teams or top 10 teams in the league because I kind of have 5 for each. But my kind of honorable mention is the Boston Celtics. Now, I like the Boston Celtics team, but it's just some reason they haven't been able to put it together. That's both been because, the team hasn't either been fully healthy, or it's just sometimes these guys, though they might be really good, might not be able to play with each other that great. So that's kind of the Celtics' downfall, is Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, the two best players. While they're really good, they're not really, they don't mesh together super well because they play the exact same way. So I think that Celtics have a ceiling, but if somehow they can get the right pieces, I'm sure that they could figure it out. But that's why they're that's why they're the fifth team in the East for me. It's just because they have the talent to do so. I just don't think they're ultimately going to get it done. So let's move on to the Western Conference. Of course, I'm going to be. This isn't even going to be a surprise. I have the Los Angeles Lakers at number 1. Really, the only reason I have this here is because, one, I don't think LeBron James has taken a super big hit with age, and I don't think his play is going to go down that much. With that being said, the fit, obviously, of this team is super questionable. Now, Russ is really the questionable part. They obviously did a great job in bringing in shooters. So this team's actually really well-rounded, pretty good defensively. It's got a lot of old guys, a lot of, I guess you could say, has-beens, but they're not really has-beens. Dwight Howard's obviously going to play his role. He plays it great. Melo, I'm really excited to see if Melo can get a ring. I'm kind of up in the air about Russ. I'd like to see Russ win a ring, but I'm more focused. I would really love to see Carmelo Anthony win a ring. I'd love to see him win a ring before he retires. But overall, as far as, talent, this team could absolutely blow every team out of the water. It's just whether or not they can get it done. But they absolutely have the talent to do so. So obviously, I think the Lakers are probably my pick to win the championship this year. Whether or not that actually happens, obviously, will remain to be seen. But if they're healthy and they figure it out, I see no reason why they wouldn't win in a 7-game series, even against the Nets. But again, going back to the Brooklyn Nets, if Kyrie Irving ends up being able to play and gets vaccinated, and there's that big 3, that would probably change my pick for the championship. But number 2 on the West, I have my Phoenix Suns. I think the Suns kept their overall roster pretty much the same. They added JaVale McGee and they added Landry Shamet, I believe. So did they get rid of anybody? I don't think so, because we got rid of Aaron Baines last season. So yeah, I think that was really it. I think those were the 2 additions that we made. So JaVale's, he's got a couple of rings, so he has some championship pedigree that he can bring to this Suns team. I think the Suns could absolutely run it back. I don't think Chris Paul is going to take a super big hit. I don't think his play is going to change that dramatically from last season to this season. It could go down a little bit, but I think the play is going to roughly be about the same. I think Mikal Bridges and DeAndre Ayton could definitely take an extra leap, coming out and being able to break out. Cam Johnson could definitely do that, and he's a great shooter. He's a guy that I really love on the Suns team, so I think the Suns could absolutely run it back. But with that being said, I have the Denver Nuggets at number 3. I think Denver, they added a piece. Who was it? Oh man, it's gonna kill me. He's a great. Oh, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt me that I don't remember. They added a forward. Who is it? He was on the Nets. He was just on the Nets last season. I honestly can't remember. It's gonna kill me. It's gonna eventually hit me after I end this video probably. But I think this team's really good, and they're gonna bring back Jamal Murray at some point this season. I don't know if he's gonna start this season. I'm gonna have to look that up. But having a fully healthy team, and if they stay healthy, they could absolutely rival the Suns, and and they could definitely be fighting. Now, that 4th seed that I have is the Utah Jazz, and the Utah Jazz were obviously that number 1 seed last season. They had that real big struggle in the 2nd round where obviously Rudy Gobert got super exposed. So I'm not really sure. I don't know. See, I don't know if that's going to end up being their ceiling is the 2nd round, because their defensive player of the year center is getting exposed because he can't really actually guard anybody on the perimeter. So his defense is really limited when he's on the floor. So I don't know if that team actually has a ceiling to where maybe a second, maybe Western Conference Finals is their ceiling, but I don't think they can actually get to the finals. But I do have them as the 4th seed. I was struggling between the Jazz and putting Golden State as my 5th seed. The reason I end up having Golden State as my 5th is because Klay Thompson isn't coming back until I think like halfway through the season, or at least a third of the way through the season. I might need to double check that as well, but with that being the case, I'm not going to put Golden State any higher than 5 because while they have some nice pieces, I don't think they're going to totally get it done, and I don't think while Klay Thompson's not going to be, the biggest, I don't think he's going to make that huge of an impact, but he's definitely going to make an impact. But with Klay, Steph, the breakout of Jordan Poole, or Jordan Poole, right? Yeah, Jordan Poole. I might look that up real quick because if I get that wrong, I'm gonna not be happy with myself. Yes, Jordan Poole is the one who's breaking out. Oh my goodness, because I was thinking of Jordan Bell, and I was like, if I get those names messed up, I'm gonna not be happy with myself. So, with him breaking out, obviously they still got Draymond. Draymond's still got a lot in the tank. He's still a great defender. He's gonna facilitate their offense. Jonathan Kuminga's been playing pretty well. They added Avery Bradley. This team still got a nice Otto Porter's on this team too. This team still got some nice players. So if they're healthy and they get rolling and they add Klay Thompson back, who knows? They could definitely make some noise and they could definitely knock out the Jazz. Maybe if it's real tight, maybe they can knock out Denver. I'm not gonna say that they fully are, but when Golden State's healthy and Steph and Klay are both healthy, they're gonna do their thing. So I appreciate everybody for watching. Leave a like. I would definitely appreciate all the likes on this video. I'm gonna post probably one more video tomorrow about maybe my top 5 to 10 players going into this league, going into the season. So I don't know. We'll kind of see. But again, I appreciate everybody watching and. Subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe and share the video with anybody who might be interested. And I'll see you all next time.